Namaste, and welcome to our continuing series on the life divine with our beloved Ranganath. We begin today a new chapter, chapter 28, Supermind, Mind, and the Overmind Maya. The page would be, I believe, 286?
285.
285, okay. And there are some quotes from the Vedas and Upanishads
Yes.
to begin with.
I see some new faces today. I don't know if you have been following Life Divine. It's not very easy. So, before I define supermind, mind, and the overmind and Maya. So, there are four things which we have to define: supermind, mind, overmind, and the Maya. So, before we do that, you should have an idea of what Srimad is trying to do in the Life Divine. He is trying to show that a divine life on earth is possible. Until now, in India at least, the tradition says that this world will be imperfect, so if you want the divine, you have to leave the physical world, and with your consciousness you have to go to the divine. There you will find him here, but here you will not find him. Srimad is contradicting that. So he has to show that there is a connection between the higher and the lower. He has to show that there is the superconscient is there hiding in the inconscient, and the inconscient is there also potentially in the superconscient. That's what he's trying to do. So he has been telling you how the connections are. The highest superconscient is the Sat Chit Shakti Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda. Then he establishes the connection between Sat Chit Ananda and the lower matter, life, mind. The lower hemisphere, what we can see up to now is matter. We can see matter, we can see life, and we can see mind. But there is an evolution, and it is not reasonable to assume that mind is the last step of evolution, because there are so many yogis who have gone beyond the mind. So it should continue. And not only that, the problems of existence continue to remain if you are stuck in this lower hemisphere. What is the meaning of this universe? Where has it come from? What is the origin of it? Who has made this universe? From where am I? Who am I? What am I? From where am I? I have been born in this world. Why was I? Why have I come here at all? What's my purpose? So this is what he's trying to establish, that there is a divine purpose in the physical world, and slowly, one by one, he is making the links. The links he has made up to now is Sat, which is truth, becomes matter. Chit Shakti becomes the vital, life, prana, if you want. Ananda becomes the psychic being, and the supermind becomes the mind of man. So he has established a connection, but now he is explaining, although essentially they are the same, the higher and the lower, still there is a limitation and some sort of distortion that occurs. So that's what he is trying to explain to you. And at each level of consciousness, as the consciousness rises, you start seeing things in a different way. Okay. Even in the physical world, if I look at something from one angle and I change my angle, I will see it in a different way. It's also very, very obvious that everybody has a different opinion because they are looking at things in the same way. So this is there even in a spiritual truth, that the higher you go, you start seeing things in a different way. And the interesting part is, what is truth in spirituality is also true in science. Very clearly, Einstein has shown that the theory of relativity, what is your frame of reference from which you are looking at reality, that changes. Okay? So now he has come up to supermind, mind, and the overmind, Maya. In the previous chapter, he has established the 7 planes of consciousness, which are in descending order: Sat, Chit, Ananda, supermind, mind, life, body. So mind, life, body is a lower, which is available to everybody, we can see. Supermind we don't see, but it is possible for man to go up to there. Man is the crucial turning point of evolution, because he has the capacity to go up. Below him, the animal, there is no possibility of the animal having a divine consciousness. But man has that capacity, and therefore he can make evolution go much faster in a conscious manner. Okay, so now this is the chapter. He is going to describe supermind, mind and overmind, Maya. Now we will, with this background, we'll just try to define supermind, mind and overmind, Maya. Define in mental terms as far as possible. The actual thing, it will only give you a vague picture. If you want the real thing, you have to go up there and experience it. Experience is the key to everything, not mental knowledge. Okay, so what is supermind? Supermind, according to Sri Aurobindo, and by the way, he does not like the word supermind. He prefers the word truth consciousness and also gnosis, Gnosis. Why? Because supermind can be interpreted in so many ways. Supermind, you can think, oh, super mind, just above the mind. It is not just above the mind. Or you could even say supermind, it's the highest level. It is not the highest level either. So that's why he doesn't like the word, but he uses it. He replaces it very often with truth consciousness and also gnosis. Okay? So, now what is the supermind? The supermind is a creator of the universe as we see it. If the supermind is not there, the unmanifest Satchidananda will not create the universe. Just like, again, the image is very useful. White light is there, but the white light contains all the colors in the universe. But they are unmanifest. If you are only there, the white light is not manifested in all its colors. So what do you need to see the colors? You need a prism. And when the light hits the prism, it splits up into all the colors. Okay? So the supermind is a prism which allows Satchidananda to manifest itself in the physical world. Okay? That's the definition of supermind. So it is neither the highest nor the lowest, it's a in-between. It's a link between the superconscient and the inconscient. Or if you want, the lower hemisphere and the upper hemisphere. The inconscient is right even below matter. So I shouldn't use the word inconscient, I should say lower hemisphere. The lower hemisphere is matter, life, mind. And at the individual level, it is body, vital and mind. Okay? At a universal level, it is matter, which is there everywhere. Prana, it is there everywhere. It is in the universe, it is there everywhere. It's not only on earth. Then, mind level of consciousness also is there, universal mind plane of consciousness. So, supermind is the go-between. It's the one that links the upper hemisphere to the lower hemisphere. Okay? Without the supermind, no manifestation, no universe. Now we come to overmind. Mind I will take up last. Mind is the universal plane of the mental substance. Just as matter is a substance, it's a gross, tangible substance. You have substance in many grades, just like water, water vapor and ice. Ice is that which is water essentially, but which you can touch and which you can feel, it is solid. Then there is water which is less solid, liquid, and there is gas. Exactly the same way, the 7 planes of consciousness are essentially all the same, yet they take different grades. So the 7 planes of consciousness are Satchidananda, as I said, supermind, mind, life, body. So mind and another principle you must remember, all these simple principles are not geographically located with borders as in the world. Each country, there is a border and they are separated by a border. It's not like that. They are all percolating one into the other. Okay? Just like the rainbow colors. They run in one into the other. You can't see a clear line between the rainbow colors. They run one into the other. Okay? So, at the highest is there in the lowest, and the lowest is also there in the highest in a potential manner. Keep this in mind. Now, mind, when is using with an M cap, at the highest level, mind is supermind. When it manifests, it becomes the cosmic mind, the universal mind plane of, it's a plane of consciousness. It's a plane of existence. Then, as it keeps coming down, it becomes our mind. Even below our mind, there is a vital mind and a physical mind. So mind is there everywhere. Okay? But when he says mind, he is normally talking about the principle of mind whose function is to create multiplicity. The one existence which is there creates a multiplicity. If you go to a glass house, in Pondicherry we had a glass house once. All the walls were glasses, and we as children used to go there, and I'm one, but I'm seeing myself 10 times, 20 times all over. So the one becomes the many. Okay, the physical world is the region of the many. Okay, you see only multiplicity here. I don't see a oneness. Even there are so many, all of us here, I don't see them all as one. Okay, although our bodies are all matter. So intellectually I can understand that they are one, but I should experience it, not simply see it. Similarly, our vitals also are all universal prana, our mind also are all universal mind. So mind is a plane which when he's using a M-cap mind, he's talking of the principle of mind right from the top to the lowest. Each one has a different function. Now, we spoke about the grades. Huh? There's another thing also you must remember about the grades. You can divide this 7 planes of consciousness in any way you want, because it's not like a ladder. It's more like a ramp. Okay. So at the lowest level, you have matter, and even below that there's the inconscient. Then above that you have life, and then you have mind, and then you have, now you are coming to the second level. The second level is the spiritual planes of consciousness, normally not available to man. But when he does yoga and he can take his consciousness to the spiritual planes of consciousness, which you could call the second level. The second level, higher mind, element mind, intuitive mind, overmind. So the overmind is the highest plane of mind in the spiritual planes of consciousness. It is above the overmind. You are not in the spiritual planes of consciousness anymore. You are in the reality. You are going to supermind. Okay, so if you are in the spiritual planes of consciousness, your consciousness is 20 times superior to that of a man in the lower hemisphere. But still it is not the reality. To get the total reality, you have to go to the supermind. That's a third level. That's what Srimdo is saying, and that is why he uses the words integral view, integral yoga, and integral philosophy. You must know the divine fully only if you go to the third level of supermind. Okay? So that is supermind. Mind is the principle which creates multiplicity. Its main purpose is to make the forms in the universe. You can't have manifestation and forms without breaking up that one into the many. Okay. Again, we keep repeating these things because they are so useful to understand. Okay. Suppose I am a potter. You can consider me also to be God. Okay. I want to create the universe. What is the material I have in front of me? I am a potter. I have got a huge amount of clay without shapes, and the pots and pans are potentially present in that clay. Potentially only. But you can't see them. So what do I do to manifest those potentialities? I take a little bit and make a pot. I take a little bit, make a cup, a plate. So I am manifesting the potentialities which is there in the one consciousness. That is what the supermind does. Okay, the supermind takes and creates multiplicity and manifests the universe. So when you come to the overmind level, the overmind level is the level immediately below the supermind. Immediately below the supermind is the overmind level. It's a very, very high plane of consciousness which very few have reached. But if you reach up to there, you have still not solved the problem of the universe. What is the origin of the universe? From where is it coming? It's a field of the many. In supermind, the potentiality of the many is there. I won't go into the triple status of supermind because that, again, we'll be branching off somewhere. But the overmind is all the possibilities that are there in the universe are there in the overmind. And they are represented by gods. Infinite number of gods. When in the Vedas, you have all these Varuna, Mitra, Indra, all these are the gods, and each thing in the physical world, there is a representation, God represents. Wind is represented by God, Marut. Okay, the ocean is represented by Varuna. Okay, everything, love, the principle of love is represented by Yeah, Mitra. Okay. So this is the overmind is a plane just below the supermind. Therefore, although it's a very, very high plane of consciousness, Sri Aurobindo still calls it the last point of ignorance because you are seeing multiplicity.
Might I ask if you would just very briefly summarize, because many people don't really understand it, the overmind descending into Sri Aurobindo on the 20th.
Okay. So, you all know that Sri Aurobindo started his yoga in Baroda. Okay. And interestingly, he was not interested in yoga for yoga's sake. Okay. Although he was having experiences from his childhood, even when he was in Darjeeling at 6 years of age, a darkness settled on him, and the darkness continued right up to when he was in England also. When he came to India first time, when he was 21 years old, he stepped on the Apollo Bandar in Bombay. A great peace descended on him, and that darkness went away. Okay. Then he had many experiences in Baroda, many, but still he was not interested. What is he interested mainly in? Freeing India. India must become free. That was his main purpose. And when he saw that yoga can give power, and he saw that through his brother, who was interested also in revolution, and they were making bombs and all that. And once what happened, I'm going a little into it to show how Sri Aurobindo started yoga. Okay, his brother Barin, they went into the hills to test a bomb. Okay, but they met a yogi there, and Barin was suffering from a fever from 2-3 months, and that fever was not leaving him. But in the hills there, they met a yogi, and the yogi said, "I can cure you." He said, "How?" He took a cup of water, and he, with a knife, he just cut it like that and said, "Drink it." In 2 days, the fever disappeared. So when Sri Aurobindo saw all these things, he says, "Yoga can give so much power. I want power to free my country." That was his point of entry. Okay, so he was looking for a yogi, and finally they found one, Vishnu Bhaskar Lele, a Maharashtrian, who had some experiences. And so they sat together. That was the starting point of Sri Aurobindo's yoga. In one day, he experienced the silent mind, nirvana, which normally the others take one whole life. Okay, so that was his starting point. Still, he is not doing solidly. He is interested, but he is continuing his political work. He leaves Baroda, his job. He was getting more than 1,000 rupees. At that time, 1,000 rupees is equivalent to today, maybe 2-3 lakhs. Okay, and he went to Calcutta and took up a job for 150 rupees, a pittance. Okay, he never cared for money. He used to leave all his money on the table, free. Even the servant could pick up and go away. So, this was his point. So now he is asking about the progress of Sri Aurobindo's yoga. So, his first experience was nirvana in Baroda. Then, in the jail, he experienced the cosmic consciousness, and he had the experience of Sri Krishna everywhere. The personal aspect of the divine and the cosmic consciousness. He is looking, and in the courtroom, he is seeing the judge, he is seeing the prosecutor, he is seeing his own lawyer, he is seeing the prisoners in the under the behind the fence, and all of them, there is Sri Krishna in all of them. So this was the very big experience that he had. Then in jail, he was constantly being guided by Sri Krishna. How to read the Gita, how to find out the secrets of the Veda. He was being guided there. Then when he came to Pondicherry, very shortly after his 1 year incarceration in jail, Alipur jail, he came to Pondicherry, and then it was an intense yoga. Okay, and he came to Pondicherry in 1910. 16 years, hard concentration, tremendous concentration, constantly walking and concentrating, not sitting and closing his eyes. That's the interesting part. Wide open eyes and walking up and down, but tremendous concentration.
Could you mention a little about Vivekananda in the jail?
Yeah. Then Vivekananda had come to him in jail in a disembodied form and given him all the knowledge of the supermind. So Sri Aurobindo was given all the directions of what the supermind is in jail. So he had the theoretical knowledge of the supermind. But when he came to Pondicherry, he knew that this is what he has to do. That was the work assigned to him by the Supreme. So he started intense concentration, but he was also interested in the physical world. And when he came to Pondicherry, he started the Arya, he started learning Tamil, he started looking into the Vedas. Okay, all these things he did. And yet concentration also going on all the time. 1926, 24th November, the overmind consciousness descended into him. Sri Krishna himself descended into his body, the very body. He used to be a person of average, below average dark skin he used to have before he came to Pondicherry. But after that, when we saw him, it was a golden color, his body. Okay, even the body had changed. Okay, so this was the overmind consciousness. So then he knew that the overmind consciousness, according to what Vivekananda had told him, was not the supermind. So before that, he was not very clear about it. But as soon as he realized the overmind consciousness, he knew that he has to work even harder to get to the supermind and bring it down on earth. So he withdrew from all physical activity and all contact from everybody, put mother in charge of the ashram, and he was not in physical contact with anybody. But through letters, he was guiding everybody. So he asked me to tell you about the overmind realization of Sri Aurobindo in 1926. So now imagine, 1926, 36, 46, 1950. How many years? 24 years, huh? So he went on trying. He was in touch with the supermind. He was in touch. He was getting experience of the supermind. But the stabilizing the consciousness in the supermental had not taken place. Because this is known because one day when Narad asked him, have you achieved the supermind? He said, no, not yet. Then he asked him, then how do you know about the supermind so much? So he scolded Narada as usual, you logical baby. I can know something about it. I can be in touch with it without realizing it. So if you have small experiences, you know what it is. And that even if you experience it for 1 second, like so many people say, you have all the knowledge available to you. So that's why he knows what it is. But the entire being, body, mind, life, all the other planes of consciousness have not been stabilized in the supermind. Okay, so that's the overmind level. So the overmind, and that is why he could say that all the religions have a truth in them, partial truth. All the philosophies also have partial truths. Advaita, Vishishta Advaita, dualities, Sankhya, all the philosophies have their point of view and they are partially right. But their perfect harmony is possible only at the supermental level. Okay, so that's what. So we have defined now supermind. We have told you also about the mind. Its main principle is division, multiplicity, making multiplicity. And overmind is a plane where the multiplicity is the origin of all the multiplicity. You can say that. Okay, so you see, all the possibilities that are there in the physical world are there potentially in the overmind consciousness. Finally, you have Maya. Maya is a very much an Indian concept, and it was made very, very popular, and it was also misinterpreted after Shankara. Shankara, 8th century AD. So he revived Advaita actually, because Buddhism and all the other religions had destroyed Advaita. Okay, the Vedic culture was absolutely gone in India until the 8th century when Shankara again revived the Advaita. But he introduced another word, Maya. Okay, so that was and it was misinterpreted. Even today Shankara is misinterpreted. So I'll go into Maya a little bit. What is Maya? The root word, dhatu in Sanskrit, is ma, to measure. Okay, in all Indian languages also you have mapa, okay, pramana, all measure. That is ma. So We spoke just now about the infinite clay and measuring and bringing out a little and creating forms. So, Maya is the power of the divine to create forms at the highest level. At the highest level, it is creating real forms. Real forms. But as you keep coming down the stair of consciousness, the levels of consciousness you come down, when you come to the lowest spiritual plane of consciousness, which is the higher mind, you see the physical world as unreal. You see it only as a play of images. Now, is there a basis in science also for this? Yes, because science says matter is only energy. It is not what you think is solid thing at all. It is just energy. Okay? So, energy, can you see? It is something fluid. It is something that can take any shape. So, it's only images that you see. So, even science is telling you. In fact, they go to the extent of saying that the entire universe that you see, the solid part is only 2%, 2.5%, 3%. The rest is all not matter. So, you can imagine how it is, okay? In fact, they call it antimatter, but actually it is subtle matter. They have not come to the idea of subtle matter yet, but that's what it is, okay? So, Maya at the highest, it has got three meanings. At the highest level, the power of supermind or Satchidananda to create real forms, okay? Second level, when you come to the spiritual planes of consciousness, you see Maya as a mystery. It's a tremendous power to create forms. How does it create a form at all? Okay, it's a mind-boggling. Even if you think about it in normal, in the physical world also. How does a tree come from a seed, one seed, and the tree has got leaves, roots, flowers, bark, roots, but it is coming from one. So everything is a mystery here, and that is the Maya is interpreted. It's the power to create illusions and different images. Okay, that's the normal meaning as we understand it. Then the physical world is also the product of Maya. So when you use the word Maya, you also use it as in the sense of the physical world. The physical world also is Maya. So Maya has got three meanings in usage, but its root is power to create forms. So we have defined now all the three.
Can we also call Maya as that which gives the infinite the appearance of finite?
Yes, that's right. That huge amount of infinite formless clay can be made into pots and pans. The infinite becomes finite. Now, Srimdo, the birth centenary library which was issued for his centenary had 30 volumes. The next one, the collected works of Srimdo, has got 40 volumes because a lot of additional matter was given by those who have passed away, all the sadhaks, their letters and all that have come, and there is a lot of material which has been, so now we have 40 volumes. Now, in all his books, this is the only book where there are quotations from the scriptures. Okay, and the scriptures are the Upanishads, the Vedas, even the Gita. He is quoting those quotations which are relevant to the text. Okay, so we'll read the quotations what he's got here. He is quoting from Rig Veda, Isha Upanishad, the Atharva Veda, and the Taittiriya Upanishad. So I read each one. Okay, there is a permanent, a truth, hidden by a truth, where the sun unyokes his horses. The 10 hundreds of his rays come together, that one. I saw the most glorious of the forms of the gods. Rig Veda. The face of truth is hidden by a golden lid. That remove, O fostering sun, for the law of the truth, for sight. O sun, O soul seer, marshal thy rays, gather them together. Let me see of thee thy happiest form of all. That conscious being everywhere, he am I. Isha Upanishad. Atharva Veda. The truth, the right, the vast. This is what he likes to use. Sat, Satyam, Ritam and Brihat. This is the definition of the supermind. Okay? From the Taittiriya Upanishad. It became both truth and falsehood. It became the truth, even all this that is. Okay? So, if I go into the discussion of all these, it will take a long time and we will not be able to go to the... But the first one, this is the permanent. That's a Satchidananda. A truth hidden by a truth. The physical world is truth. But it is... The ultimate truth is being hidden by the physical world's truth.
But then over here he capitalizes both T's, which got me interested.
Pardon?
He's capitalizing both the T's.
Yes.
So I would understand small t being hidden in the big T, but how can...
Yeah. Our mind says that would be a nice way of doing it. But there are so many different ways of also arguing against that. Okay? The physical world is true, all images. Basically untrue. Okay? But there is a truth behind the forms. Which is there, okay? Then there is another thing also which you must remember. Sri Aurobindo was not very, very particular about capitalization. Okay, that we have seen again and again. Okay, so where the sun unyokes his horses, this is the supermind. Okay, the 10 hundreds of his rays come together. That's the overmind consciousness. Okay, I saw the most glorious of the forms of gods. Now this one is the famous one. The face of truth is hidden by a golden lid. The face of truth is the supermind and the golden lid is the overmind. The overmind and the supermind divided by the golden lid which Mother broke in 1956, 29th February. Yes?
Another, in the previous quotation, the two truths could be, one truth could be the supermind and one truth could be the overmind.
Also, but there, if you say that, Sri Aurobindo says that the overmind does not really hide the supermind. He says it's a translucence. It's not opaque, the border.
It's like what you were explaining about like form and substance. There is a truth behind it. So it can be the truth of the Satchidananda and that same essential truth in matter.
Yes, it could be that. But his point is that he is saying that the second truth would be the overmind consciousness. I have a slight doubt because, as he says, that from the overmind, the division from to supermind is not as rigid as in the other planes. It's a translucent border.
But what else could deserve to be called truth except the overmind, apart from the supermind?
Well, each one is free to see as they want because the truth is there everywhere in varying degrees. Okay, it's a purest form, and here truth is there also in its most hidden form. So you can say it's up to you to decide. And besides, we can't. That which is real is beyond the mind. So when we try to very, very rigidly fix things by the mind, it won't really correspond to the truth everywhere. Yes, you are saying something.
Like, I mean, another for me interpretation could be like we talk about the two hemispheres, lower hemisphere, higher hemisphere. We sometimes associate the capital to the ultimate, but there is, even in the lower hemispheres, there is that ultimate truth as well, right? So,
which is very well hidden. Okay, yeah. So, that's it. So, then this face of truth is hidden. I should mention, because some of you may not know about it, Mother broke that lid, golden lid, and the supermind had descended, and that it even has got time factor. On the 1956, 29th February, okay, the leap year, this supermind descended. And she did not speak about it to anybody for 1 month. After 1 month, she revealed that she said that this is that which the things which are promised have already been done. And then she spoke about the supramental boat and all that 1 month afterwards. Okay? So, in fact, she was surprised. When she came back to her normal consciousness, she saw everybody sitting in the playground. Absolutely, about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And everybody sitting and unaware totally. She thought that the whole thing would be flooded with golden light. So it came down, but it has been absorbed by the dark matter of inconscience. It is absorbed. So now the supermind is there as in a seed form. It's only a question of time before it manifests. Okay?
But a few saw it. A few people saw something.
Yes. I didn't see it, but they had a touch.
Felt something.
A touch. Amal had a touch when he was in the train. Mother came to him and he had a vision of the mother. And mother said, yes, I did come to you to tell you that I had told you, I had promised you that when the supermind comes, I will let you know. So I had come only to tell you that. But he didn't realize there is a supermind. Okay, that is one. Then the other one is in East Africa.
Aravinda Basu also.
I'm not aware of that. Maybe. And
East Africa, yes. Vidyut's uncle.
That's right. That's one I'm talking about. Okay. Jayanti Bhai's brother. His name was Indu Bhai Patel, I think, yeah. So he had the experience. He felt something. The mother had said that some people have felt. Okay. So that's the face of truth. That's what he's talking about. Then the next one from Atharva Veda, very clear. The truth, the right, the vast. Perfect definition of the supermind. The truth, Ritam, Satyam. The right, Ritam. The vast, Brihat. Okay, that's why he uses that. Then, in the Taittiriya Upanishad, it became both truth and falsehood. It became the truth. Even all this that is, even this is the truth. So, now we read one para and see whether we have time to discuss it. One point remains to be cleared, which we have till now left in obscurity. The process of the lapse into the ignorance. For we have seen that nothing in the original nature of mind, life, or matter necessitates a fall from knowledge. It has been shown, indeed, that division of consciousness is the basis of the ignorance, a division of individual consciousness from the cosmic and the transcendent, of which yet it's an intimate part, in essence inseparable, a division of mind from the supermental truth, of which it should be a subordinate action, of life from the original force, of which it is one energism of matter, one energism of matter from the original existence, of which it is one form of substance. But it has still to be made clear how this division came about in the indivisible, by what peculiar self-diminishing or self-effacing action of consciousness force in the being. For since all is a movement of that force, only by some such action obscuring its own plenary light and power can there have arisen the dynamic and effective phenomenon of the ignorance. But this problem can be left over to be treated in a more close examination of the dual phenomenon of knowledge-ignorance, which makes our consciousness a blend of light and darkness, a half-light between the full day of the supramental truth and the night of the material inconscience. All that is necessary to note at present is that it must be in its essential character an exclusive concentration on one movement and status of conscious being, which puts all the rest of consciousness and being behind and veils it from that one movement's now partial knowledge. Srimda has examined all the planes of consciousness, but now he is saying we have not yet done one thing. How does that one, what is the process? I am telling you that the one becomes a multiplicity. What is the process by which it happens? What is the law which operates? That's what he wants to look at. So, he will have to go into the mechanism of the supermind, the triple status of supermind, and explain how slowly one becomes the other. Okay? This is the problem even in the physical world. How does one seed, at what point does it start dividing and creating leaves, fruits, flowers, bark, okay, twigs, branches? How does that one thing separate itself into all these different tissues? This is a problem even in biology. Okay, so the stem cell. The other day I was looking for that word, stem cell. Okay, the stem cell, the one cell which gets fertilized starts dividing itself into many. Okay, it's a self division. It divides into 2, it divides into 4, it divides into 8, geometric progression. And at some point, the potentiality of that one substance becoming bone tissue, flesh tissue, cartilage tissue, skin tissue, hair tissue starts coming. That's at the stem cell point. Okay, so this is what he's saying. Let's examine that and see what is the process by which that one becomes the many. That's what he's saying here in this. Okay, but we can look at each sentence. What we normally do is we get the basic idea and then we go into his language, because you must understand his language. His language is extremely precise and very, very precise. And he also is descriptive in his brevity. Very short language, but he packs a lot of stuff into each word. So that we have to disclose. Okay? So, before we read the para, I'll tell you in brief what he's saying in the para. Then we'll go into detail. Okay?
Ranganath, sorry to interrupt you. When you had explained the chapter title, you had explained what is supermind, what is mind, what is overmind, and what is Maya. But there is no separation between the words overmind and Maya, no comma, no and. So overmind seems to be adjectival to the word Maya. Can you explain why he has written it like that? Overmind Maya?
Good point.
Yes.
I saw that also.
Yes. Because Maya starts at the overmind level.
So is overmind being used in an adjectival form for the word Maya?
Yes, you could say that. Potentially it is there in the supermind, but the supermind is basically not multiplicity, basically oneness, unity.
In that book, The Hour of God, where he makes all those charts.
Yes.
So in one of those last charts, which is made in 1931, he writes overmind or Maya, which seems to equate the two.
Exactly. And that's a good point. Okay. So, and the overmind Maya. So, in the para, what he's saying, we will start looking at how the one becomes a many, how the unmanifest becomes manifest, how the infinite becomes finite, how the formless becomes form. There must be a procedure. What is that procedure? That's what he's asking. Okay, so now simply saying here, we have shown that it is really Satchidananda that becomes the universe. In other words, it is the upper hemisphere of Satchidananda and Supermind. We may call this the divine quaternary, he calls it. Satchit Ananda Supermind. Okay? Becomes a lower hemisphere of mind, life and matter. But we have not yet described how the fall occurs. By what mechanism does infinite existence become gross matter? How divine Chit Shakti degrades itself into our diminished vital and matter shackled life. Okay, diminished and matter shackled life. How the infinite supermind becomes our ignorant darkness of mortal mind. We have not seen the process by which this happens. He has also, incidentally, he has also connected everything. He has connected Sat with matter, Chit, Shakti with life, with prana, okay, our vital. And supermind becomes the mind. Then, obviously, there is an obscuration of the divine principles, a diminution and a limitation that creates a cosmos in time and space. We discussed just now, I gave you the idea of the huge amount of clay and the forms. So, necessarily there is a diminution. The infinite becomes finite. So, that's what he's saying here. A diminution, but a diminution and degradation, a limitation. Naturally, it becomes a limitation also. Limitation of consciousness, limitation of force, limitation of ananda. The problem will be dealt with in the next book. Okay, knowledge and ignorance. How the knowledge becomes ignorance in detail, that's his other book. At the end of this one, he has divided Life Divine into 3 parts. Book 1, Book 2, Part 1, Book 2, Part 2. Okay. Part 2 deals with the evolution entirely. And Book 2, Part 1 deals with this knowledge and ignorance, their relationship, and what is the status of knowledge and ignorance. So here he is saying, we'll only briefly tell you the cause and discuss the cause to a little bit, which he calls exclusive concentration. I'll come to that, okay? Then he says, at present, suffice it to say that this downfall occurs by a willed exclusive concentration. Exclusive concentration is the power of the infinite knowledge to focus sharply on one aspect, putting away all the rest of its knowledge into the background. This is very similar to a workman concentrating on a job at hand, relegating all else that he knows into the background. It is the nature of a purposeful self-forgetting in order to zero in on one aspect that needs immediate attention. So, while we are concentrating on Life Divine, it's exclusive concentration, because I know that I live in 26 Dupuy Street. I know that I have a brother. I know that I have a sister. Okay? All that knowledge, where is it? When I'm reading here, it's in the background. So this is what he is describing, exclusive concentration. So when you decide to exclude, your consciousness of the all starts becoming the consciousness of the multiplicity. That is the main cause of ignorance. That's what he's saying. So you can get rid of that limitation and get back to the knowledge of the whole. Okay? That's the substance of what he's saying in the para. Now, we still have some time, so we'll go to into the language. Because I find Srinivas's language is fascinating, because he packs so much. And he also expresses things in slightly different words. So if you connect the different words here and the different words there, your knowledge increases of how he is expressing himself. It becomes very descriptive. Okay, so I am reading the para. One point remains to be cleared, which we have till now left in obscurity: the process of the lapse into the ignorance. Okay, for we have seen that nothing in the original nature of mind, life and matter necessitates a fall from knowledge. Okay, you can have full knowledge even in the physical world. You don't need to leave the physical world. So there is no absolute necessity for that to happen. It has been shown indeed that division of consciousness is the basis of the ignorance. Okay. When you are divided, that in the previous chapters he has shown that division of consciousness, okay, creates the ignorance. Because you start looking only at one thing and not the whole. So, a division of individual consciousness from the cosmic and the transcendent. So we spoke of 3 levels, if you remember. Highest level, the ultimate reality. He is calling that the transcendent, outside the universe. The second level, the cosmos. And the third level, the multiplicity of the physical world, the individual. So you can also use the words transcendent, cosmic and individual. Okay. So that's what he's saying here. A division of the individual consciousness from the cosmic. Okay. Our body, mind, life is a product of the cosmos. It is universal matter, universal life and universal mind which has created our body, mind, life. So we are coming from cosmos. Who has created the cosmos? The transcendent. So it's a 3-way production, if you want. Okay, the transcendent creates a cosmos, and the cosmos creates the individual. That's what he's saying here. Yeah. Of which yet it's an intimate part, in essence inseparable, a division of mind from the supramental truth, of which it should be a subordinate action. So, our mind is a subordinate action of the supermind. Then he is talking of life from the original force, Shakti, of which is one energism. of matter from the original existence of which it is one form of substance. Now, he is using the word energism. When you read Sri Aurobindo, you have to say, why is he saying energism? Why is he not saying energy? Energy would be the principle of energy anywhere. Okay, energism is one aspect of energy. So, just like energy produces lightning, but lightning is not energy. It is an energism. Okay, a storm. Okay, is an energism. The tide coming in is an energism. All is prana, but prana is a universal truth, and it produces different forms of energy. Electricity, okay, lightning, as I said, okay. So these are all mechanical energy, nuclear energy, okay, chemical energy. There are so many different types of energy. These are energism. So that's what he's saying. Subordinate, truth of which should be subordinate action. Of life from the original force. Original force, Chit Shakti, of which it is one energism. Of matter from the original existence. The word existence is Sat, you remember. That also needs a little bit of discussion. But Sat is the present participle of the Sanskrit root as. As to exist, to be, to become. Okay, us. So, existence is that which exists. So, in the physical world, what is it that exists most prominently? Matter. But matter can be solid, it can be liquid, it can be gaseous, it can be the most subtle. So, existence is used in the sense of the subtlest substance. That's why they're using the word substance at the end, you see. So, matter from the original existence of which it is one form of substance. There are different forms of substance. There is mental substance, there is vital substance, there is overmind substance, supermind substance also is there. So, the mother has spoken about supermind substance, Puraniji, okay, playing with the supramental substance. After he passed away, mother is talking about him and saying he is in the supramental world with Sri Aurobindo, playing with the supramental substance. So, relate these things, matter, existence and substance. Different words with slight different connotations. Okay?
On this sentence, so he speaks only of the equation of mind and truth, life and force, matter and existence. What about psychic and Ananda? Why doesn't he mention it here?
He doesn't bring that into the picture at all because he is not discussing here Ananda, not yet. He is discussing the manifestation that is taking place. That he discusses in another place. Yeah. He doesn't mention that at all. Because the psychic being and Ananda is, I don't know, you could say it's a question of emotion. Emotion, Ananda, more psychological. So,
Can you repeat that?
I had better not.
Very good.
The word bhakta comes from bhaj, to divide. So, and psychic is having the characteristic of bhakti.
Well, to know the reason, we'll have to ask him though. Maybe you'll get the answer. Ask him.
The psychic plane, I mean, it's not emotional. No, it can't be psychological.
Psychic, there's no plane.
Yeah.
There's no plane.
Right.
Maybe that's the reason.
But there is a psychic world, no?
There's a psychic world, but it's not a plane.
Oh.
But when Sri Aurobindo talks about the chakras, like if he's talking about the Anahata chakra, behind which is the psychic being, he says that the way most people understand chakras is their centers in the subtle body, but actually they are planes of existence. So psychic.
You can access the planes of consciousness through the chakras.
But psychic being is behind Anahata.
Psychic is the inmost, Narada is the inner.
Inner.
That's the inner heart, that is the inmost heart.
Inmost.
Or rather, not use the word heart.
Heart, yeah.
Okay. We stop here today.
Namaste. Thank you for joining.